Hey guys, in the garage again. Cold Wisconsin winter as always. So today we're going to go over installing a stud, a wheel stud. So if you ever broke one of your studs off when changing a tire, putting on a new tire, a lot of them are pretty simple to change. And some of them require a little bit more depending on whether you have disc brakes versus shoes in the back. Depending on if it's blocked by the hub. So there's a few things that may require being removed in order to remove the old broken one and installing a new one, but some of them could just be pushed in. In my case, I'm doing it on a tire carrier on the back of my Jeep. So I just wanted to show you the basics of how I show as far as buying special tubes to press it in. I've already did this one here, and so I'm about to press this one in here. I need to add a third one on too as well. So this is going to be in order to put my fifth wheel on here on this carrier that I'm installing. So what I do, I just put it in there, and I have a few things down here. So let me show you this part up here. So if you see that part with the ridge on there, that's the knurl. You want to make sure that's what really grips it up in there. But you want to make sure that's the correct size for your hole. You don't want it too big because you'll never get it in there. You don't want it too small because it eventually starts spinning and you'll never be able to get the lug nut back off. So you probably want to get a micrometer and measure the size of your hole versus the size of this. And you want this one to be slightly bigger. I mean, just a tiny bit bigger. And so what I'm going to do is press that up in there, but you see this other little tapered end down here? That's going to come out a little bit, as you see on that one right there. You see how it comes out a little bit? So the reason I'm making a point of saying that is because when I put washers on there to help me press it in, see the diameter of that hole? You don't want it to be just enough to get around the threads. You want it to be enough to allow for that extra part to actually be able to come through as well. So, and this one does. You see that extra plate up in there? So, I'm going to take a couple of those. I'm doing this one-handed now, so be kind. And put a couple of those on there like so, alright? And then, I'm just using this big nut right here to help take up a lot of other space. You can do it with a bunch of washers too, but it's up to you. And then I'm just going to take a couple more of these washers and put them on there. And then keep myself enough thread out there for my nut to grab onto. Now you see it's one of those acorn nuts, right, with the tapered end? You don't want to put the tapered end on there because it's going to want to like dig down in there. So get an open one, not one of those closed ones where the back is closed off. Kind of like that right there. You don't want it closed off on the back end like that. You want it nice and opened up like on here. And then you want to use the back end, the flat end on there because you want that flat end to be against that washer. And then just feed that on there. As such. Doing pretty good so far with just one hand, hey? And then once you get that started, just get out your wrench. Now this part's going to be a little difficult here. I just want to get it started there for a moment. The camera may look a little weird for a moment. I just want to get it started for you guys. Alright, now I've got it started a little bit up in there. So now if you watch it, you'll see that draw itself in, okay? So I'm going to put this back on here. Once you get it in there a bit, that knurl part will grip it enough where it won't spin on you. If you watch it, you'll see it starting just to get pulled in up in there. Now to be honest, mine should be a bit tighter than this, should be a little bit harder to turn than what I'm doing to get it in. But this is for my tire carrier, so I got a little wiggle room. If you're putting it on for your wheels, I would suggest making sure that knurl is bigger than the hole enough where you really got to put a little bit of a weight down on there to turn that puppy up in there, okay? But that's basically how it goes. So I hope this helps out for you guys as far as to maybe use it with some spare parts that you have in your room, in your garage, to be the person at the end, okay?